It is day 54 of the 1 year fast. Today is a fasting day, just for 24 hours. So this week, week 8 of the 1 year fast, I fasted on Monday and Tuesday, and now again on Thursday. So one 48-hour fast and one 24-hour fast. Again, framework for the 1 year fast is for me to fast for 3 days per week. I choose the days during the week for 52 consecutive weeks. I mentioned yesterday, so I definitely did rebound on Wednesday. So rebound in terms of after fasting for 48 hours, obviously calorie deficit during that period of time, I then try to compensate, I guess in a subliminal way, for those loss of calories. And I definitely ate much more yesterday than I would typically eat on a non-fasting day. And that showed up on the scales this morning. So when I started the 1 year fast, I was 180 pounds. During the course of the 1 year fast, my weight has fluctuated, but aligned with fasting. So on fasting days it goes down, non-fasting days it goes up. I've been all the way down to 173 pounds. That was last Thursday, so a week ago. Today, after rebound eating yesterday, I was up at 182 pounds and 4 ounces. So from the start of the 1 year fast, 180 pounds, I put on over a couple of pounds. Occasionally when you come out of that fast, you have this compulsion to consume to compensate for those loss of calories. And that's clearly what I did yesterday. And I became very aware of it. So initially I wasn't too aware, but then I did notice I was going back having seconds, eating more, grazing more throughout the day. So I need to be much more mindful as I move through these weeks, that I try to address any compulsion to rebound. Now when I break the fast, I typically have a plant-based protein drink with some spirulina, some fruits such as blueberries or apricots, and maybe some creatine. And that is what I use to break the fast in the evening. But clearly on the Wednesday, when I woke up, I ate far too much. And that resulted in my weight today, this morning. So need to be mindful of rebounding after a fasting period. Okay, so it's day 54. And overall, I'm feeling well. I still have a twinge in my lower back, so I haven't been working out at all, which is probably really compounded the weight gain. So I haven't worked out, consumed too much on a rebound day. That's probably the reason for the weight gain. As I mentioned, I am going to go back for a DEXA scan, maybe in about 6 weeks. Therein I will be able to see my body composition. Has it changed? Am I seeing less fat, more lean muscle, less lean muscle, and obviously bone density? So I'm looking forward to doing that. Again, it's going to be about another 6 to 8 weeks. They're not cheap, the DEXA scans. So what I'm thinking in the meantime, it might be good practice to buy a smart scale. Now a smart scale obviously is not as in-depth or comprehensive or accurate as a DEXA scan, but it can give you some indication of your body composition. So in terms of BMI, in terms of fat to lean muscle ratio, it can give you that as a guide. So it might be good to do that, because then I can add all of those data points onto the dashboard on the 1yearfast.com website and have that available for a more consistent graph. So I will probably do that over the coming weeks. I thought it was a really good extra indicator to include. As I've mentioned too many times, one of the main reasons, if not the main reason for the videos, is to try to look for any indicators around emotional, psychological, mental, spiritual health, just to then align that with the underlying physical health. for that holistic picture as I move through the 1 year fast. And to really accommodate that, I tend to have moments of reverie, reflection, just to have a discussion point in general. And today I was thinking about my really early childhood. And when I was really young, before the age of 3, I'd been in hospital, stayed in hospital in London on 3 separate occasions for 3 separate incidents. And I was just thinking back to those. My memory does go back quite far. I do remember when I was really young, and I was probably about 2 or thereabouts, maybe a little bit older. And we used to have so we lived in a council flat in Barnet, quite a nice one. And we used to have an ice cream truck come around in the evening. I used to go to bed about 7:30ish time. I remember Coronation Street used to come on, the sound of that, and that's when I used to go to bed. And we used to have this ice cream truck come around the neighbourhood, and it was called Tony Bell, and it used to have like a bell ringing away. And on this particular evening, my mum went out to the ice cream truck, or ice cream van, whatever you want to call it, and bought me a whippy. So an ice cream with whipped ice cream, and there was some nuts and some chocolate sauce on it. And she gave it to me, and just before I'm going to bed, I ate it, and literally within minutes, I was vomiting all over the place. So I had contracted some poisoning through the ice cream, gastroenteritis, and the doctor came around and they rushed me to hospital, and I had to stay in hospital for a couple of days. And then shortly after that, I came out of hospital, and I was over at my grandparents' house in Hackney, and I was playing on the pavement outside the house, because back in those days there weren't too many cars about. This was in the 60s, showing my age, and I was just playing around on the pavement, and I was kind of under. So my grandfather had a truck, and he parked a van near the pavement, and he was trying to carry some boxes off the van. And as he stepped back, he stepped on me, and he stepped on my midsection, and it's quite painful. And I went upstairs, and I was peeing blood, bruised some kidneys. So again, I had to go in hospital again it was a longer period in hospital after that event. Stayed in there for a good few days. And then, probably about 2 or 3 months after that, I was back in Barnet at our council place. And at the back of the council house, there was council flat, there were coal bunkers. And these coal bunkers, the coalman would come along and fill the bunkers up with coal, and you would use those for heating your home. Anyway, I decided I was wearing a Batman outfit. So I had this Batman outfit. I decided to go on top of the bunker, and I was convinced that I would be able to fly. So I jumped off the bunker. It was about 5-6 foot high, and I was very small, and broke my arm. So then again, I had to go back into hospital for another, I think it was almost, again, a good few days in hospital. So over a period of about 6-7 months, I was in hospital 3 times. I certainly look back on my early years with fondness, despite being in hospital. I remember crying a lot as well when I was left in hospital. Because, obviously separation from your mother, you start to get a bit emotional, and I remember that. So, yeah. Anyway, just thought I'd share that as a reflection point. But anyway, coming back to the 1 year fast, again, day 54, last day of fasting for this particular week, which is week 8. Step into week 9 on Sunday. And again, next week I'm going to fast for 3 days in a row. I'm most likely going to fast on Wednesday, Thursday and Friday, potentially on Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday. I'll see as I get closer to that time. But yeah, it'll be a 3-day fast next week. And then I'm hoping come the end of the 3-day fast, as I get to about hour 70 or so just before, I'll then do the ketone readings again on the breath-based ketone reader and also the blood-based ketone reader. And then hopefully get some good numbers. Fingers crossed. Okay, so day 54 and fasting day. Gonna break the fast in about another 6 hours. And apart from the lower back twinge, feeling really good. Okay, that's me. Thank you.